Hello, my name is Sol Mox and I'm a sculpture technician. Today I'm going to show you how to make mixed plaster. Start off with a clean bowl please, and it's best to be flexible so that you can get your cast plaster out. Cold water is best, probably about 1/3 full is the maximum that you want because of adding the powder to it. Before you start, if you're asthmatic, please make sure you keep inhalers with you when you're working in the plaster room. It can be quite a dusty environment. Otherwise, if you suffer from eczema, you might want to use a barrier cream before you start. We can provide gloves, but some people don't like them. We'll start off with a bag of plaster. When you first get your bag of plaster, you may find that the contents have settled. So when you open it, just loosen up the powder so that you don't get big lumps of it. And then using your hands, you'll just sprinkle the powder evenly over the surface of the water so that you get an even load going in, and you keep going, tapping the bowl to help the powder settle down into the water. This can take some time, and you're just waiting for small islands to be created on the surface of the water. Okay, we've loaded the bowl. You can now see that we're getting a layer of plaster sitting on the surface of the water, which is when it's loaded enough for you to be able to start mixing. Don't mix until you're happy with the quantity of powder that you've got in there. Once you're ready, just slowly start mixing the plaster through the water. Try not to agitate it too much because that will reduce the amount of air bubbles that you get in the plaster. And you just work your fingers through it, breaking down any lumps that you find and any islands that are on the surface. You're aiming for something that's quite creamy and sort of holds on your fingers and is lump free. Okay, so now we've got a mixed bowl of plaster. Once it's all mixed through, a chemical reaction is starting. At the moment it's quite fluid, it's quite creamy, and this would be an ideal time to pour it into a mould or to use it in other applications. It will go through different stages as it goes off. It will start to warm up, and it will also thicken up as well, and it will get to a stage that we call cheesy, which may be usable if you want to palm it onto a mould case or something like that, until it finally gets to a point where it suddenly becomes quite solid and unworkable anymore, although some people like to model with it a little bit at that point. Okay, we've left the plaster for about 5 or 6 minutes now, and you can see it's starting to get a bit cheesier. It holds its form. This is ideal if you want to palm it onto objects. And it's also, if you wanted to start modelling with it or playing around with it, this would be the point that you would do it. It's still quite cool at the minute. I would say you probably need another 5 minutes before the heat comes on and it actually starts to set hard. And that is mixing plaster. Okay, we've now got our plaster which is set in the bowl. Couple of things to remember before you get finished. This is an activity that has to take place in the workshops, not in the studios, please. Also bear in mind it can get a bit of a messy process, so always wear clothes that you don't mind getting into trouble. When you're mixing the plaster as well, don't leave your hands in the plaster. And the final one, when you've finished, just squeeze your bowls, crack the plaster out, and it goes in the bins, not down the sinks. Thank you.